How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to my channel, The Cosmic Wonder, where we talk about everything Marvel and everything relating to the MCU. Today we have some really awesome news to break down, talking about Wolverine in the MCU and Deadpool in the MCU as well. We actually have quite a bit of Deadpool news today. Ryan Ryenolds has recently made some more comments about Deadpool joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe for Deadpool 3. And we have news about how Marvel could be developing a Wolverine Weapon X Disney Plus project, and we'll talk about how Marvel Studios has actually been setting this up for over 10 years. Marvel has wanted the X-Men in the MCU for some time now. In fact, they have left many different Easter eggs all throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They expected the Disney-Fox deal to come through at some point. They didn't know that it was going to take about 10 years since when they planned on it, but the rights to all of the mutants and X-Men are back at Disney and Marvel Studios, and now the X-Men can come into the MCU, including Wolverine. So we'll talk about the Wolverine and Weapon X project that is said to be in development right now, and all of the Easter eggs that Marvel has put for the Weapon X project, and then talk about Deadpool 3 in the MCU. If you're new, be sure to subscribe for all the Marvel content, and my Funko Pop Iron Man giveaway ends in a few days. All you have to do to enter is subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment about the video down below. So many of you who have been following for some time now are probably aware of who Roger Wardell is. Before Avengers Endgame came out, and I'm talking 6 months before Avengers Endgame came out, Roger Wardell's Twitter account started to leak things about the film, and every single thing that he leaked ended up being 100% true. So a very credible source. And he seemingly has a new account where he dropped a ton of news for us. In a tweet he said, Weapon X Disney Plus show planned as a pre-sequel to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It will focus not only on Logan's backstory, but also the other members of the Weapon Plus program as well. Now, the Weapon X program is a program in which the government takes mutants and other individuals and experiments on them in order to enhance them and all of their abilities. The Weapon X program is responsible for many different characters in the MCU. Wolverine and Deadpool are just two of them. Wolverine is often referred to as Weapon X because Wolverine was the 10th experiment done by the program. But the first person that was ever experimented on and the first weapon that was made by the program was the one and only Captain America. The Super Soldier program that did experiments on Steve Rogers and made him into Captain America was essentially the Weapon X and Weapon Plus programs, just a different iteration of them. The program has been shut down and opened again under different titles several times, but they're all essentially the same. And Captain America is Weapon number 1 and Wolverine is Weapon 10. Now, before we dive into all of the many Easter eggs in the MCU about Wolverine and the Weapon X program, we should clarify that the new Wolverine that is going to be coming to the MCU is not going to be Hugh Jackman. Recently, Hugh Jackman was asked in an interview that now that Marvel and Disney own the rights to the X-Men again, would he come back to play Wolverine? And unfortunately, he said, honestly, if it was 7 years ago and this would have happened, he would have totally done it, but for now, he's left the party. So they're definitely going to cast a new Wolverine, even though the MCU wanted Hugh Jackman's Wolverine for a very long time, and they've been planting a lot of Easter eggs and setups for him. And now a new Wolverine is coming with the mutants and the X-Men, and this was announced by Marvel Studios' president Kevin Feige at San Diego Comic-Con of 2019. And remember, in an interview after San Diego Comic-Con, he was asked what he meant by mutants, and he said that mutants and X-Men are interchangeable, they mean the same thing. And then he said that Deadpool was also a mutant as well, so he grouped him in with Deadpool, meaning that Deadpool is coming. And Deadpool is part of the Weapon X program, that's how he was made. So, depending on what Marvel and Disney want to do with Deadpool, we could see him show up in a Disney Plus series, but of course he will have to be a toned down version. But it definitely could be a segue of how to introduce Deadpool to the MCU. It just sort of depends on whether or not they're going to stick with the Fox origin story for Deadpool or create their own new one. But more on Deadpool in just a bit. Let's talk about how Marvel has planted the Weapon X program in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since the very beginning of the birth of the MCU. Not a lot of people realize that Marvel Studios has been planning on the X-Men entering the MCU since the very beginning of the first film, Iron Man. We have a deleted scene that was never shown in the movie and could never be shown to us until Disney officially owned the rights to those Fox X-Men characters. However, once the Disney-Fox deal was complete, Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, showed us this clip.
As if gamma accidents, radioactive bug bites, and assorted mutants weren't enough, I have to deal with a spoiled brat doesn't play well with others and wants to keep all his toys to himself.
So this is a deleted scene from Iron Man, the original Iron Man film. And this is the scene that they literally wanted to use as the post-credit scene, but the rights didn't work out and they couldn't. But the fact is they were planning on the mutants being a part of the MCU. And then we go to the Incredible Hulk, where Thunderbolt Ross explains Biotech Force Enhancement, the Super Soldier program. He says it's an oversimplification, but yes, it is the Super Soldier program, just a different iteration of it. And it's the same research that made the Hulk. When Ross reveals the Super Soldier serum that he's been working on, he reveals these tanks, and on these tanks you can clearly see that it says Weapons Plus Program. And again, it's the same program, just a different iteration. But this is particularly important because it actually establishes in the MCU a relationship between Hulk and Wolverine. Essentially, Banner was working on the Weapons Plus program, he just didn't really know because Thunderbolt Ross kept it a secret from him. And not to mention that Mark Ruffalo has been teasing us with a Hulk vs. Wolverine project. In fact, he said he would like to see that happen 4 times in public interviews. To bring Wolverine in and put him in the same film as the Hulk would make perfect sense, since people want more of the Hulk and Savage Hulk, not Professor Hulk, and Mark Ruffalo wants it as well. And since the rights are at Universal currently, they have to do a air quote team-up film, end of air quotes, and I say that because if they do this, they'll actually be fighting, not teaming up. So the leak says that this Weapon Plus program is going to be revealed and take place before the events of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Thunderbolt Ross secretly has been developing this Weapon Plus program. And it's the same program that is the Super Soldier program, which we know is going to come into play in the series because we know that the new Captain America is going to be given a Super Soldier serum. And this was actually confirmed in a recent screening where they showed footage of the first episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. In this episode, they showed Bucky going to visit Zemo in prison, and Zemo tries to reactivate Bucky as the Winter Soldier, but it doesn't work because Shuri got rid of the programming in his brain after Civil War and before Infinity War. After this, Bucky walks up to Zemo and he tells him that Thunderbolt Ross has restarted the Weapons Plus program. So it's finally coming full circle. We saw Thunderbolt Ross start the program in the Incredible Hulk, and now it's finally coming back into the MCU. And that's where this new report of a Weapon X Disney Plus program comes into play. We're going to see all the experiments that this program did on Logan, aka Wolverine, and all of the other experiments they did on other people as well. Side note, this almost guarantees that the Red Hulk is coming because the Weapons Plus program is announced to be brought back by Ross, and in the Black Widow leaked photos, we can tell Ross is in bad shape, and this is most likely due to him testing serums on himself, which is how he becomes Red Hulk in the comics. So after 10 years, the Weapons Plus program is finally coming to light, and again, one part of that could be Deadpool. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Deadpool 3 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe recently, specifically because Ryan Reynolds came out in an interview and basically said, I don't know if Deadpool 3 is going to happen. And then Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld came out and said that it's Marvel's fault that we don't have a third Deadpool film yet. However, all of this is very easily explained. First of all, Rob Liefeld stating that it's Marvel's fault that there hasn't been a Deadpool 3 yet and may not be a Deadpool 3 is not accurate. The reality of the situation is that Rob Liefeld really isn't going to be involved with Deadpool 3, so he's not really in the know about the project because he's not going to be working on it. Because the truth of the matter is, Deadpool 3 is basically confirmed for the MCU despite whatever is going around right now. There is all the evidence in the world that there is going to be a Deadpool 3 and that it's already being worked on at Marvel Studios. First of all, there is a production grid going around right now that confirms a Deadpool project is in the works at Marvel Studios, and it lists Kevin Feige and Ryan Reynolds as co-producers. And that was one of Ryan's big things. He wanted to really be in charge of Deadpool. Deadpool 3, he originally wanted to be completely in control over. But he's playing with the big dogs over at Marvel Studios now, so Kevin Feige is definitely going to be involved. Then you have the fact that the writers for Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 confirmed several times that they are working on a rated R Deadpool over at Marvel Studios. And then Bob Iger, former CEO of Disney himself, even stated that they are going to be working on a R-rated Deadpool. And then we have Ryan Reynolds on a national television show. When asked about Deadpool 3, he said, "Yeah, we're working on it right now with the whole team. We're over at Marvel now, which is like the big leads all of a sudden. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, we're working on it. Literal confirmation from Ryan Reynolds himself. Now, what has happened since is that things have gotten a little bit more official. Marvel Studios probably now has more concrete plans for Deadpool in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And as Ryan Reynolds mentioned before, he's in the big leagues now, and of course Marvel Studios likes everything that they're doing to be very, very private. So now he can't just go out and say, yeah, Deadpool 3, it's coming, it's about to be here, etc., etc. Because Marvel Studios has a standard and he has to live up to that standard, which of course is no problem, as we've seen. Right now he is simply playing it cool, and even just the other day he was on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, and he said, I see infinite possibility in either version. If Deadpool were to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think it would be explosive and amazing, and what a sandbox to play in. If Deadpool continued to get to just do his own thing and be his own thing, also just infinite possibilities. So this is classic playing it cool. He talks about how awesome and explosive it's going to be if Deadpool gets to be in the MCU, but then adds a little disclaimer at the end. But also, if Deadpool continues to do his own thing and not be in the MCU, it's fine too. But really, this is just kind of a I don't want to give anything away. So Deadpool 3 is absolutely happening. It's been confirmed by several different sources directly from Marvel. And it seems like the Weapon X program just may be what brings him into the MCU. So my question to you is, would you like to see Deadpool's origin rewritten for the MCU and possibly appear in the Weapon X Disney Plus program if that comes true? Or would you like for everything to stay the same and simply enter the MCU currently as he is right now? Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on everything relating to Deadpool 3 and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For live updates on everything, you can follow me on Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.